All right. Hello, everyone. This is Crota coming at you, doing a little bit of everyone's talking about the playtest realm patch, which has also been well coined by the. As soon as I saw it, I said this is the Todd patch. This is what Todd has been asking for since the very beginning. I do have some things to show you. Let's go ahead and jump on right in and take a look at. And remember, these are only playtest realm patches. They still are in flux. They can be changed, and even if it goes to live, we've seen that they can still be changed. So this is a big topic for the Warcraft 3 community, and we'll look and we'll see how things play out. First of all, a quick update. Warcraft 3 team. Let's look at the balance changes, and these balance changes are absolutely huge. I don't know. Um, if you guys haven't read the playtest realm patches, I'm gonna do that for you now, and we'll just dive on in. Balance human improved lumber tech requirement removed, advanced lumber tech requirement changed from castle to keep. What that pretty much means is everything got lowered one tier. You can get improved lumber tech at town hall, and then advanced lumber tech at keep. It helps human players just gather more lumber early on. You don't have to wait for a goblin shredder, and it gives you a lot of flexibility, and it also is going to put a little bit of stranger play on harassment against human. If human is just able to use lumber tech and not have to worry about calling militia nearly as often, then are you going to really want to harass human that much, especially if it doesn't affect them nearly that much and they're able to bounce back? So that is going to be a big difference here. Knights now have Sundering Blades by default. And yes, this is the general direction of the patch. Human got a big buff. If you couldn't tell by me saying that it was coined the Todd patch, yes, that is the case. Knights now have Sundering Blades by default. The, the big issue here was because the barracks is such a cornerstone building for human, um, for knights to get up and running, knights take a long time to train. Knights really wanted animal war training, and then they also wanted Sundering Blades. Having to really have that be very effective out of the gate, it 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 didn't seem to work that well. You weren't able to get your knights up fast enough in order for them to be effective. Like all of this weird attention, and it just took a lot of time. Um, right, so by making Sundering Blades, by not having Sundering Blades as default, they deal more damage to medium armor units right out of the gate, and that's really the problem with them. The knights, they're supposed to counter what the crypt fiends. They're supposed to counter mountain giants, but but it just took a lot of investment. Ridiculous. I mean, people are like, hopefully it does not go through. Tanks are cancerous too. All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. Scout tower, guard tower, cannon tower, arcane tower repair rate is now 5 seconds faster. Um, I actually don't know what that really means at saying 5 seconds faster. I don't know what the repair rate is. Um, right? Hope that the sundering is a small amount, then upgrade it just like pulverize. Oh, that might be able to work. Sundering free, so at least make knights more expensive. And animal war training isn't just for knights though; it's for griffins and hawks too. Yeah, that's true, but well, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to discuss, and then we'll look at the numbers and the actual win ratios, because all of us have like a pretty knee jerk reaction, and we'll see what the numbers actually show us in terms of win rates and loss rates. Faster repair rates, right? With towers, your stationary defense. Well, sometimes just wasn't that strong. And we got to remember, masonry upgrades are significantly weaker than they were in years past. We are not going to go back to the age of towers. We are not going to be seeing 9 armor, 800 hit point guard towers all across the map. That's not the direction that they're trying to take the game into. I don't know if you remember games with Sky and Infi back in 2008. That's pretty much what you saw all over the place. We still have the keeper patch fresh in our minds. All right. Siege engine tank experience bounty reduced from 85 down to 60. While we wanted to reduce the overall effectiveness of certain siege engine strategies, we realized that due to the inflexibility of our experience leveling system, setting the bounty at 85 was too high. There has been some ongoing community sentiment that tanks were in a good place previously, so we've reduced. Siege engines before were usable. They were annoying. They were a strategy that humans could rely on and move to, and then they moved to non-existent. Right? Like siege engines basically came into a non-existent strategy. They were not used. I don't know how often you've seen them being used, um, right? Uh, and yeah, you don't want to nerf a strategy into oblivion, right? You don't want the strategy to be, yes, it has to be this way, but at the same time, you don't want your correction to make it all of a sudden completely not useful. All right, moving right along. Ugh, my allergies are still getting me. Night Elf, Druid of the Claw, able to cast Rejuvenation right out of the gate. I like it. I like it. Druid of the Claw starting mana increased. Um, to me, it makes a lot of sense, um, and it helps. Right? No question about it. Moving right along. Undead Acolyte hit point regeneration while on Blight reduced from 4 to 3. Yeah, it felt like Acolytes just were not dying. Right, they just were not dying when you were trying to harass. If you did get one close, all you need, the Death Knight was usually around for that burst heal, and then you started it all over again. Yeah. Also, no nerf for 3 orb of poison. Triple orb of venom is is good. I wouldn't say if it's broken, right? Like a triple orb of venom, you generally want it on 3 ranged heroes, and going triple ranged heroes itself is a very specific strategy too. Also, triple orb of venom, I said in games past, it works better against hit and run tactics, and it works better as a hit and run tactic as well. So if you're able to do hit and run tactics, you can still be dealing damage while your army is moving away, or if your opponent is trying to run away and you're able to spread out that orb of venom damage. That's really where it shines. And it's, I don't know, I still like those games. Watching them, I wouldn't say that they were broken. Reminds me, you Crota casting knights killing acolyte. Yeah. Well, they touch the problematic units, but those aren't the right changes. All right. Moving on down, Rod of Necromancy cooldown reduced from 26 to 24. No problem there. Undead necromancer or necromancy, death knight, creeping. You still want to open things up. Ritual dagger cost reduced from 125 to 100. Um, Perfectly fine. The ritual dagger was seeing some use. Maybe dropping the gold down by 25 will have it see more use. Completely okay with that. Cryptlord Impale on heroes. The stun duration reduced at level 2 and level 3. I greatly appreciate that, as the impales just seem to be, very very powerful and a bit too strong. Also, the crippler damage on the impales reduced across the board as well. It makes a lot of sense. What is that? Was it? It's 15 damage. Okay, that's inconsistent. It went from 75 to 60, which is 15 damage less. 120 down to 110, which is 10 damage less, and then 165 down to 150, which is 15 damage less. I wonder how they got to those specific numbers, right? Well, it's just, well, I guess the original numbers were weird. 60, 110, 150, right? You go up by 50, then you go up by 40. But in this case, you're going up by 45 each time. All right. They're actually moving it over to a more sustained, like this. Actually, no, this makes less sense, right? We're gonna up it by from 60 to 110, you get 50 extra damage. And then here, from 110 to 150, you get 40 extra damage. Shouldn't this be one? Yeah, that's just that's a bit weird, and it gives more reason to go Beetles level 3 than Impale level 3. Okay, Frost Armor duration is now scaled per level. I like this. I like this. What I assume they mean by duration is not how long frost armor sits on the target, but how long the debuff on frost armor is when you attack it. Right? It's not how long frost armor lasts. This is completely true. I really, really wanted. This is something that I really wanted because it's not really the armor increase that really protects the unit. Crypt fiends in particular, from knights and footmen, it's the slow effect. So it would always seem like, hey, I already have level 1 frost armor. I don't need level 2 frost armor. I'm going to go for dark ritual there. It makes the lich have more important choices where you spend that skill point. But the problem is none will max frost armor. Well, and that's the thing. Everyone will max Nova, and the question is, on your second ability, will you go level 2 frost armor, or will you go frost armor and a dark ritual? Right? You want that tension, right? No one was maxing dark ritual before frost nova, right? Like right, you knew what the primary skill. There is a primary skill and a secondary skill. You could have two primary skills. Say archmage, you could either max out brilliance aura, or sorry, water elemental or blizzard. You may actually even max out brilliance aura first at level 5. That's an example of three primary skills. Let's see, mountain king, two primary skills. Thunderclap or Stormbolt would be maxed out, and then you would have Bash, or Thunderclap, whichever one you want, so that they can at level 3, armor 6, level 7. Yeah, you can do that if you don't want Death and Decay. Boneyard no longer requires Sacrificial Pit. It seemed like a little bit of extra that we didn't need. Frostworms really didn't need to be tier 3.5, especially since destroyers were so easy at tier 3. You just train up obsidian statues while you're taking a tier 3 research destroyer upgrade, and you have a flying magic unit. Frostworms, being that tier 3.5, wasn't really there anyways. Maybe the competition is between ritual and armor, but not nova. Yeah. Now, moving back down, items. um changing all of the items to be a little bit weaker than their tier 1 counterparts. I am interested in seeing how this will really work. It's basically 75% of the level 1 ability. Kagar's Pipe of Insight reduced. Yeah, all of this across the board. And were the auras a bit too strong to begin with? That is the question. And a lot of players felt that was, right? But we didn't want to completely take it away. So this is exactly what they did. They're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and make them a little bit weaker. One thing that I do like is resell percentage is increased from 50% to 75% of their items' original cost. Um, this is going to be a very the only it it looks good, and then you realize Scroll of Town Portal is going to sell for 50% more when it's sold by the Blade Master early on, and Undead, when they sell the Scroll of Town Portal to fast expand, they also get 50% more gold, because that's what it is, a 50% increase from 50 to 75. So you're going to get more. So undead and orc are the two races that sell their Scroll of Town Portal early. That's going to give them a big benefit. So we'll see how that works. It may change builds, it may change timing, but that is important to note. Now, a lot of people out there were like, well, how is this going to affect balance? Human is getting such a strong buff. What will it take? What will it look like? And well, our friends over at Liquipedia went ahead and pulled up the information and was saying what is the win rates, loss rates against everyone, and how does it really look? And mainly, people were looking at human. They were saying human is already winning so much. Let's see. Are they just going to win even more now? So at the highest level of play, humans going up against Night Elf. Humans have a 48.1% win rate. Night Elf has the 51.9. So Night Elf actually has the advantage at tier 1. Human versus undead. Um I'm not going to even touch that. If anyone said that human had the advantage going up against undead, or if you thought human had the advantage going up against undead right out of the gate, then then yeah, you've been watching a different Warcraft 3 from a different time than I have been. About aura items nerf, big disadvantage for solo heroes. Yeah, yes and no. Coming back, orc versus human. Orc actually having a slight losing win rate against human there, 48.1 versus what 51.9. So human having a slight advantage there. I've talked with play testers, and I've talked with David Kim even in private. I'm like, and when he was balancing StarCraft 2, and I asked him, what is good balance for you? And he goes, what we really want is any like a 48 to 52%. That's okay within the realm. Meta is still being established. Even 47 to 53 is good. When you start getting outside of 45 to 55, that's really where things start to tip off the balance, because that's where you really start to feel it. Moving right along, let's take a look at this. Human at tier 2, at not at the highest level of play, but at the second level of play, humans have a 52.1% advantage compared to Night Elf. Undead actually had a 51% advantage, so slight advantage there. And Orc is actually losing to human, 46.5 compared to human at, what would that be, 53.5. So still, all within that comfortable realm in terms of balance. Tier 3, which is probably where I am at, human having a slight disadvantage. This is the greater population, a lot of players. 48.9, humans still having a slight disadvantage. Nothing. Human doesn't have the big advantage that a lot of Night Elf players thought they had. Moving off over to undead versus human. Undead still winning in that category pretty easily, and orc having a hard time against human. So, important to take a look at. Remember your numbers. Right, let's take a look at these numbers. Leave comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the patch. It may be changed. Again, remember, this is just a playtest realm patch, but I do like many of these changes. These changes, are gonna push new directions, reintroduce units, open up more strategies. Also, it's not going to feel nearly as bad when you constantly get rings of protection or an aura that you already have. Say you get Kagar's Pipe of Insight as a human, right? You get gold on top of that. That's going to be nice to just be able to sell that as well. I want to see where this goes, and I don't want to cast judgment as of yet. If you think I'm right, let me know. If you think I'm totally wrong, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.